Thank you very much. It is a great, great honor for me. I am Shifa De Frelia, and I'm so honored to be your Master of Ceremony for today's event. But before we start our event, let me give a warm greeting to our invited guests who have joined us today this morning. We're truly honored to have ambassadors of Mexico, Mr. Francisco de la Torre. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. From the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in the Republic of Indonesia, Mr. Juwono Sofyan. Thank you very much. Senior Policy Advisor from Multilateral Corporations. From the Republic of Korea, Mr. Park Sudok, Charge d'Affaires of the Republic of Korea. Thank you for coming. From the Australia, Miss Nicola Kimpian, Minister Consular Political. Thank you very much for coming. And as well as from the Republic of Turkey, Mr. Talip Küçükten, the Ambassador of Turkey. Is on the way. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming. And as well as the first Vice Dean, the Faculty of Social and Political Science, Universitas Indonesia, Ibu Nurul Isnaini PhD. Terima kasih Ibu sudah datang. And as well as Dr. Getar Hati, the Director of Korea-Indonesia Connections, FISIP UI. Thank you very much. And it's the wonderful day to see so many unfamiliar faces who have long supported international collaborations, as well as new colleagues joining us for today's event. And so, ladies and gentlemen, today's event is not simply as a festival, but it's designed to raise awareness and foster dialogue on the role of MIKTA in global diplomacy, with a strong focus on sustainable development goals through academic presentations, interactive discussion with the ambassadors, and film screenings. MIKTA represents partnership between Mexico, Indonesia, the Republic of Korea, Turkey, and Australia. And today we have here under the banner of MIKTA for Change, Screen and Dialogue on SDGs, a special topic that perfectly captures for our missions to listen, to see, and to imagine a more sustainable future together. So ladies and gentlemen, to begin our event, it is an honor to welcome to the first opening remarks. We are pleased to invite Ms. Nurul Isnaini PhD, the Vice Dean of the Faculty of Social and Political Sciences, Universitas Indonesia. Ibu Nurul, the floor is yours. Please give a round of applause.
Selamat pagi semuanya. Very good morning to all of you, our distinguished participants of this great event. I'm Nurul Isnaini as the representative of this faculty, especially because I am serving myself as Vice Dean of Academic Affairs, Research and Public Engagement, and Students Affairs. So on behalf of the Dean and all the Civitas Academica of Faculty of Social and Political Science Universitas Indonesia, we would like to extend our deep gratitude and warm welcome to all of you. Thank you so much. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, colleagues, and dear students, I think I'm here very grateful to attend this important event, and it is a really a sincere honor and joy to welcome you all to FISIP UI for MIKTA for Change, SDGs on Screen and Dialogue, promoting the SDGs through youth and culture. I think this is very important event that has been organized by the Korea-Indonesia Connections, FISIP UI, headed by Dr. Getar Hati, our promising young scholar here. We are very happy to support this center because the fact that this center have already developed several activities that facilitate young students here to know more, not just about Korean itself, but also how Korean develop their global relationship and partnership with others, of course, especially with Indonesia. So today, because Korean has special, special program because of its position as the part, as the member of the MIKTA countries. And this year, Korea holds the MIKTA chairmanship. So I think this event has its special meaning, not just for our faculties members and students, but also I think for Indonesians and other parties from the MIKTA countries in this world. So before I extend my my warm welcome to all of you, firstly and foremost, please let me warmly acknowledge our honored guests from the MIKTA countries, especially His Excellency, Mr. Ambassador Francisco de la Torre, the ambassador from Mexico, as well as Mr. Ricardo Daniel Becharil, head of the Consular and Cultural Affairs. And also I would like to welcome Mr. Augustaviano Sofran, the Senior Policy Advisor for Multilateral Cooperation at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Republic of Indonesia. I'm very happy and surprised to see Mr. Augustaviano Sofwan because I have already known him well since not since I'm still young, but yeah, I think long 10, 20 years ago, yeah, Pak Augustaviano, and actually I follow your activities. You're very important person because you have been posted in several positions in not only the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but also the national other institutions. Also, I would like to warm welcome from the Republic of Korea itself, Mr. Park Soo-deok, charged affairs, but actually now become the acting of Korean ambassador. Yeah. During our conversation this morning, Mr. Park said that it's not easy for Korean government to assign ambassador for Indonesian. I don't know, maybe Indonesia is the challenging country for Korean for many reasons, but he said that in Korean also political crisis happens, so it's not easy also to post important position for several politicians and others. Okay, I think also I would like to Mr. Un Taiho, political section chief. Yeah, thank you for coming. Yeah, Mr. Un Taiho. Sorry if I pronounce your name not improper. And Miss Xiao Jingyun. Yeah, for second secretary and second secretary, yeah, in the Korean embassy. Also from Turkey, we do hope that His Excellency, Mr. Ambassador Talip Kukuchen, will be safely arrive in a few minutes more. But I'd like to welcome Mr. Muhammad Kunj, the Secretary. Oh, he's still living. And last but not least, from Australia, welcome to Miss Nicola Champion, Minister Consular for political and strategic communication. Also, Mr. Aidan Met, second secretary from Australian Embassy. Sorry, it's not, it seems that it's in the class. Yeah, I have to check my students whether you come or not in this class. But actually, we do very happy and we feel very happy and honored to welcome you all here. And again, special thanks to all of our students as well as my colleague here. I saw the head of International Relations Department, Dr. Broto Wardoyo. And also welcome Mr. Ambassador Talib Kuchan from as the Turkey ambassador. Welcome, Mr. Talib. Thank you. We are happy to see you again here. This is not the first time, yeah, for you to come here. Okay. I don't know whether we have enough time, but again, I would like to extend our warm welcome to all students and colleagues from UNTAS Indonesia and from other universities, if there are some, and also those who attend through Zoom meeting. I think today it's a very timely to talk about global connection, global partnership, academic collaborations, and talking and especially sustainable development goals agenda, because I think we have been challenging many issues from the global pressures and also from our local aspiration. So I'm truly grateful that you all have chosen to spend your time with us today to talk in this great event. The Republic of Korea serves as the MIKTA chair, and we are especially pleased to collaborate with the Embassy of the Republic of Korea in bringing MIKTA closer to students and young people in Indonesia. For FISIP UI, it is a privilege to host this initiative and to provide a space where diplomacy, academia, and youth can meet. Through today's program, we will first hear presentations from representatives of FISIP UI. We would like to thank the Department of Social Anthropology and the Department of Social Welfare for supporting the students in successfully developing their research and actions programs. We selected them because of their active involvement in supporting the achievement of the SDGs. We will then hear insight from our distinguished speakers and diplomats, take a part in interactive dialogue and Q&A session, and later reflect on the issues raised through film screenings related to the SDGs. From the opening session until the closing, we hope you will stay engaged, ask questions, and share your perspective. This event brings together MIKTA, the Sustainable Development Goals, and the energy of youth and culture. MIKTA, that consists of Mexico, Indonesia, Republic of Korea, Turkey, and Australia, plays a unique and strategic role as a bridge builder in the international relationship and international system. In the face of inequality, climate change, inequalities, digital transformation, in all sectors and new global challenges, cooperation among MIKTA countries is essential to accelerate SDGs programs at national, regional, and global levels. To all students here, you are not just observers of global change, you are potential drivers of the change, the agent of change. We hope that today's exchange will not only increase your awareness, but also inspire concrete ideas, networks, and future collaborations among students, researchers, and practitioners across MIKTA countries. In this way, discussion that began in this room can contribute even in small but meaningful ways. The most important, meaningful and impactful, not the problem of big or small, to advancing the SDGs in our societies. So again, let me express my heartfelt appreciation to the embassies of the MIKTA countries, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, Korea-Indonesia Connections, FISIP UI, and all committee members and volunteers. Your hard work, trust, and spirit of collaborations make this event possible. With deep gratitude and great optimism, I'm pleased to welcome you once again to FISIP UNTAS Indonesia and to declare that event MIKTA for Change, SDGs on Screen and Dialogue, promoting the SDGs through youth and culture officially open. Thank you, and I wish you an inspiring and meaningful program. Thank you, and before I forget, I think I should apologize for the absence of our dean, Professor Sumiarto Aji, for this event because he has a program in Solo in Surakarta, but he sent me warm welcomes to be delivered to all audiences here, especially for our distinguished guests. And also, we again through his message, we here in this faculty do very much hope that academic collaboration with our partners from MIKTA countries can be developed in the near future, because I think this is the era of global collaboration, especially among young people, among academicians, because I think they are now playing a very important role, not just in terms of culture diplomacy, but also academic, academic collaboration. Thank you for your great attention. I wish that all of you can have beneficial from this event, especially our students. Thank you for Dr. Getar Hati with her team to successfully organize this event, and all support from the MIKTA countries representatives in Indonesia. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let us give a round of applause. Thank you very much, Ibu Nurul, for the warm and encouraging remarks. And before that, let me greet honorable invited guests from the Republic of Turkey, Mr. Talip Küçükten, the ambassador of Turkey. Welcome. It is a pleasure to have you here. And thank you very much for the remarks, Ibu Nurul. And as today, host of one of the key supporter of this event, the Embassy of Republic of Korea has played an essential role in bringing this event to reality. So it is now my privilege to welcome on stage Mr. Park Sudok, the Charge d'Affaires Embassy of the Republic of Korea. The stage is yours. Thank you very much.
Selamat pagi. Günaydın. Buenos dias. Good morning. 안녕하세요. Professor Urul Isnani, Vice Dean of the Faculty of Social and Political Sciences, University of Indonesia. His Excellency, Ambassador and Professor Francisco de la Torre Galindo of the United Mexican States, His Excellency, Ambassador and Professor Talip Küçükcan of the Republic of Turkey, Honorable His Excellency Mr. Augustaviano Sofian, Senior Policy Advisor of Multilateral Cooperation, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, Honorable Ms. Nicola Campion, Political Minister Counselor of the Australian Embassy, esteemed colleagues from the MIKTA missions in Indonesia, and most importantly, our students of the University of Indonesia. Let me begin by expressing my deepest gratitude for your presence here this morning. Standing here and seeing so many talented young students, I'm reminded that Indonesia has one of the youngest population in the world. This reinforces how essential it is for us to listen to your fresh ideas and perspectives and to create meaningful platforms where your voices can truly be heard. Before we begin the main program, allow me to briefly introduce MIKTA. Established more than 10 years ago, in 2013, MIKTA is a cross-regional partnership composed of Mexico, Indonesia, Korea, Turkey, and Australia. Although our countries come from different regions, we share common values: democracy, a free market economy, and a firm commitment to multilateralism. Together, we strive to contribute constructively to global problem solving by bridging the gap between developed and developing countries. 5 days ago, our MIKTA leaders gathered together on the sidelines of G20 summit in Johannesburg, South Africa. MIKTA leaders reaffirmed their commitment to strengthening international cooperation and effective multilateralism to tackle global challenges that no single country can resolve alone. Their gathering highlighted specific areas like the governance of artificial intelligence, food security, critical minerals, and global financial reforms. MIKTA operates on a rotating chairmanship, and this year Korea has the honor of serving as chair for the third time. Under our 2025 chairmanship, we are focusing on three key priorities. Number one, peace building. Number two, youth empowerment. And number three, accelerating the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals. These priorities reflect not only Korea's policy focus, but also our shared aspirations as middle power nations. This brings us to the purpose of today's special session. We are gathered here to explore how young people can play a more active role in advancing our common global objectives, particularly the acceleration of Sustainable Development Goals implementation. Today's event is designed as a two-way platform. On one hand, we will hear the innovative ideas of two selected students on how to fast-track Sustainable Development Goals implementation. On the other, MIKTA member countries will introduce their policies, priorities, and approaches within the MIKTA framework, helping students gain a deeper understanding of what MIKTA does and why it matters. These exchanges will be followed by a joint watching of short films, which hopefully further enhance awareness and appreciation of the global sustainable development goals among all participants. I sincerely hope that today's session will deepen the understanding of MIKTA among Indonesia's younger generation and inspire great interest in multilateral cooperation and global citizenships. Thank you. Gracias. Brethren. 감사합니다. Terima kasih.
Please give a round of applause. 감사합니다. Park Sudak for the opening round. Thank you so much for your thoughtful and inspiring remarks. We very appreciate that. And ladies and gentlemen, to honor our sense of nationalism and our deep, our beloved from homeland, may I kindly invite everyone to please rise and stand up for the national anthems. We will now sing national anthems. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. You may be seated. I'm truly apologize about the trouble audio. But ladies and gentlemen, before we continue the event, to cherish this moment today, we will proceed to a group photo session. So this is our chance to capture the diverse faces behind today's event. So please, ladies and gentlemen, to the representative. So ladies and gentlemen, can you please stand up? And for the representative, each ambassadors. All right. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Can we move to the front area of the stage? All right. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay, thank you very much. Give a round of applause to everyone of today's event. Okay. And before we cherish this event, honorable ambassadors of each nations, can we stand up and can we capture of this moment in the front of the stage for the group photo sessions? Yes. Yes, I'm so sorry. Is on the stage? Ah, here's okay. 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 This is a rare moment for photo sessions. Thank you so much. Can we please, but just stand up, yes. Bagitar and Ibu Nurul. Okay, can you go back to the, I'm so sorry. Thank you so much. Give a round of applause to the ambassadors of MIKTA. Okay, thank you so much for the cheerful smiles, also the participations. And ladies and gentlemen, as we continue today's journey of ideas and collaborations, we are now moving to the one of the most important segment of this event, the students' representative SDGs presentations. The sessions brings the voices that matter deeply for the future sustainable development, youth thinker, problem solvers, and change makers. So for today, we will hear two outstanding student representative. In each representative will delivering in 10 minutes presentations grounded in their own interpretations and advocacy of sustainable development goals. So without further ado, please welcome our first presenter, Muhammad Altaf Yusuf, SOS, student of representative from Department of Anthropology. Please deliver his presentations. Please give a round of applause. Thank you.
Check. Good morning, everyone. First of all, it's such an honor to be able to present my research, especially in front of the ambassadors of MIKTA countries, because the last time I present this research was my undergraduate thesis defense. I don't have a lot of time, so I think I could just like start. Okay, so my research is in Balikpapan, a city in East Kalimantan, which is, I'm quite sure it's a bit random because it is not a metropolitan city like Jakarta or Surabaya. But I do feel that this city could represent something that is actually happen in the global trend. So first, I want to start this presentation by showing some maps, and I want you to look at the first map, which is maps that is filled with some red blocks. And that red blocks represent what is called red zone. And red zone are areas that are deemed experiencing a chronic water crisis, and that you cannot add more houses to connect to the city water supply. And I want you to compare with the second map, which is the below one. And that map is about show the formal water network in the city. So all those areas represent all the pipe networks in the city. And from a rough comparison, I'm sure we can safely say that almost 3/4 of the city are experiencing water crisis. But even so, some water engineers in the city water agency admit to me that for if we calculate it without some sort of like bureaucratic constraint, they admit that almost all of the city areas is in the red zone. And now I want you guys look a bit of a chart. So the first chart is the development of water consumers in the city. And so between 2022 and 2023, there's a slight increase. That is because of the announcement of the Indonesia's new capital, and Balikpapan has to become a sort of like supporting city to the new capital. And there's a lot of like migration towards the city, and it affects the amount of water being consumed, which is shown in the second chart. As you can see in 2023, especially around September and October, there is like a significant increase in water consumption. Next. Now, I'm sure that the water, I'm sorry, I'm sure that the problem is quite clear, and that is like the city's water supply simply could not keep up with the water demand. Even the city's water agency predicted that the city will need around 1,953 liters per second more. By comparing it to the current water supply that is around 1,500 liters per second. Some water engineers even admit that the city might need around 2,000 liters per second because there's a regulation by the Ministry of Public Work that said that that's not all water inside the dam could be used completely because some needs to be reserved in the case of emergency. But the problem is that the idea or who can define emergency is the Ministry of Public Works. So the city itself could not really define whether the city is experiencing an emergency or not. And this condition led to the proliferation of informal water suppliers or informal water market. And what that means is that you need to make an order. You have to call for water to be delivered to your house, or you rely on small capital owners among your neighborhoods to supply you with water. Next. And now my question in this research is actually quite simple, and that is, why does the informal water market exist in the first place? Or to quote some of my research informants, what do they willingly say? And I quote, "We, Balikpapan people, don't care much about where we get our water from. As long as the water is there, we don't mind buying it." And this led me to a more operational question that we could actually find in the field, which is that, is this condition is a new arrangement, or is there a historical precedence to this? And the second one, is the state or the government involved in such informal market? And I think the more important question is this the future of water infrastructure? Now, let's begin with a bit of history. And the history of Balikpapan as a city is actually quite long. But I think we can share on it by looking at the event of 1891, which is the time when the Dutch found oil in Balikpapan and then formally opened up its first oil well in the city in 1897, marked by the Matilda oil well, which still exists today as a cultural heritage. So this history actually has some sort of implication in that Balikpapan was designed and formed as an oil city, which means that the city was set up to support the oil economy and all the activities involved to support the said economy, rather than the citizens of the city. And this actually could really be found, or you can see the materialization of such history in the city's spatial design, in which, as you can see towards the map, there's a sort of like segregation between neighborhoods for the local residents and neighborhoods for like the manager of the oil company and the oil workers. So it's no wonder that William Wood, a geographer, said in 1985, and I quote, "In many ways, Balikpapan is not one but two cities. The first city consists of crowded kampung and potholed roads lined with two-story shop houses. This city is where most of Balikpapan's population lives and works, while the other city consists of spacious bungalows and well-maintained roads leading to modern industrial complexes. This other city is where Balikpapan's economy has been integrated into the world economy." Now, this history of Balikpapan was not only a quote-unquote Dutch history in the sense that the Dutch imposed their policies towards the local, because this arrangement was enabled through a cooperation between the Dutch and the Kutai Sultanate at the time. And so this led to the form of government that catered or cares only to its main player, in which the one that benefit from this arrangement is the Kutai elites through money from the oil company, and the oil workers and its managerial class through the urban design. And this actually, you could really see the effect of this arrangement in 1950s, where Balikpapan was experiencing a water crisis, and a Dutch newspaper reported, and I quote, "Of the city's 80,000 residents, only 10,000 are housed in accommodation maintained by the government that are equipped with pipe water." So the rest of 70,000 residents at the time does not have a proper water supply. And this sort of arrangement still exists today, because the local water engineer explained to me, and I quote, "The purpose of water agency is not to fulfill citizens' need, it is to fulfill the needs of our consumer. While we are designed to be an extension for the government to distribute water, it's not necessarily in our jurisdiction to supply water to all citizens. That is the government's job." While I do think that this sort of rhetoric is usually ascribed to the sort of like marketization or liberalization of basic needs, which is true to some extent, but considering the history of the city itself, I think it is also important to consider that this sort of arrangement is not necessarily a new arrangement, because there's historical precedence to this sort of like political and spatial arrangement. Next. Now, I want to move on to a more global discussion, in which this sort of condition is not necessarily unique to Balikpapan or Indonesia, because numerous research and ethnographies, especially around the world, have documented different yet similar forms of informal water market that exists, namely in Mumbai in India, Accra in Ghana, or Dhaka in Bangladesh. Now, some scholars have argued that this informal water market is a new form of infrastructure, which is a beyond network infrastructure, as I mentioned in the slides. For example, Megan Peloso concluded in her study on water struggle in Ghana that, I quote, "Informal and private sector services can provide alternative forms of water security through multiple sources, flexibility, and day-to-day affordability." Now, this sort of argument is intriguing, and I believe that it is true to some extent, because in the context of water crisis, the place that is experiencing water crisis is usually characterized by difficult natural water supply and lack of investment, especially in the context of global austerity. So informal water market could just be what people needed right now. And also considering the latest Sustainable Development Goals report by the United Nations, there are still around 2.2 billion people around the world in 2024 that lack access to a safe water supply. And not to mention, the UN themselves emphasize on fostering multi-stakeholder partnerships. And I believe if we consider this argument, we could extend the so-called stakeholder to involve informal water suppliers. But there is a problem with this sort of argument and a sort of like championing the informal water market, because informal water market adds a lot of problems towards urban citizens. For one thing, it adds more labor time for obtaining water, whereas people need to spend their nighttime, especially around midnight, just to wait for water. And then they have to purify it more, because informal water market usually is not really clean. And this is especially concerning for women, because at the very least in Balikpapan, it is usually women that are expected to manage water in their own homes. So working mothers have to spend more time waiting for water and more time to purify the water. So it adds more to their labor time and waiting time. And also, this sort of arrangement is actually more expensive compared to a network infrastructure or grid-like infrastructure. Because, for example, if we take Balikpapan as a case, you have to pay around 15,000 per meter cubic if you use the water from the city water agency, while the average price of informal water is 100,000 per 1,100 liters. So that means I only need to spend 16,500 rupiah if I want to have the same amount of water, which is 1,100 liters. So it's definitely cheaper to have water from the city's water agency. And also, and I think this is the most important one, in that the need of water access is crucial not just for water itself, but water access is crucial to enable or achieve other forms of development, especially the one that is mentioned in Sustainable Development Goals, from industrialization, environmental policies, and eradication of poverty. Because as Manuel Eckert said, and I quote, access to running water removes barriers to economic growth for both individuals and society. Being able to wash hands with soap reduces the likelihood of sickness, leading to fewer missed days of work or school, both of which come at a great personal economic cost. Governance, and particularly water governance, is a prerequisite to improve resilience and population's ability to better manage climate-related and other risks. Okay, before I end this presentation, I just want to conclude that I believe that the Balikpapan city could really serve as a good example of the especially global south condition, especially in terms of water infrastructure, and that it provides a glimpse and a space to think about how the current condition of water crisis is actually really needs to be addressed right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alta, for the thoughtful and incredible presentations. It's very interesting. It is about water infrastructure in the age of informalization. The case of Balikpapan City, East Kalimantan. Thank you very much. And now we're moving on to our second young leader, Amare My Heart. Wow, the student representative from the Department of Social Welfare, who will be presenting Reducing English Language Stigma to Promote Inclusive Learning under SDG 4 Quality Education. Mr. Amare, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. So my name is Amare My Heart Ono, as you can see here, and it is such an honor to be here today to bring student perspective on SDGs for MIKTA for change. And before I talk more about the language stigma to promote inclusive learning under SDG 4 quality education, let me start with a little confession. So I did not grow up in Jakarta, a city where it is common for people who can speak English fluently, which apparently means that I should not be able to speak English this fluent today. When I was in a middle school, I was one of the few students who actually liked speaking English. And instead of people saying good things like, wow, good job, they would say things like, lah, kok so Inggris banget? Or in English, it would be saying like, why do you talk like that? As if English proficiency was some exclusive membership that can only be earned in some certain places. So yes, I was that kid who got mocked for something that should have been celebrated. And I remember thinking, if I, someone who actually enjoys learning this, feel this stigmatized, what about the students who are already afraid? That seed, the experience of being judged, is actually why I'm standing here today. But again, before I dive deeper into this topic, I'd like to introduce you to my flow of presentation today. Next slide. Okay, so before we talk more, I want to introduce more about myself here so that it would be easier and clearer to explain. So what do? I'm a student from the Faculty of Social and Political Sciences, majoring in Social Welfare Batch 2024. And I am one of the community forum officers at the United Nations Association Indonesia. and a founder of Overcome Cycle, a youth organization that focuses on the mental health and self-development, and then co-founder of Ing and Talk, again, youth initiative that works mainly in English education. Okay, next. Okay, so, but when I got a little older, I realized that my story isn't special at all. Now, let's zoom out. Okay. Across schools outside of the capital city, from Pratui 2020 to Seption 2025, the pattern is shockingly consistent. One student come across in early believing that English is scary. Their negative school experiences reinforce the fear. And they worry about making mistakes. They feel judged by peers and even teachers, and eventually confidence collapses before the vocabulary even begins. And from a psychological perspective, this is a classic. If a student expects humiliation, they would stop trying way before they are learning. And honestly, if we keep treating English like a grammar competition instead of communication tool, it's like teaching someone to swim, but forcing them to memorize every chemical component of the water first, which why no wonder that they would drown. But it doesn't matter that grammar is not necessary. Okay, so next. So in late 2024, when I was in my freshman year, my friends and I created Ing and Talk, not a fancy school, not a corporate training program, just a place, just a safe place that is online, weekly, and accessible to anyone, where you can actually speak English without getting roasted for your action. So we host this weekly English conversation clubs, and we have this digital campaign that reached more than 3,000 youths all over Indonesia, with over 100 ECC participants and a growing community of young Indonesians willing to try. So lastly, we also engaged more than 7,000 youths that followed us in our social media page. And let me be honest with you, we are still a small initiative, we are young, and our impact is nowhere near the national level, but here's the thing that matters. Confidence grows in safe spaces, not big programs. And even if one student says, Ka, I finally dared to speak, it's already a win for me. Okay, but before I reveal more, I want to show you into a short look into what our activities look like. There's a little video about it. This is a collaboration program with Cakrawala University in South Jakarta. And some of these students actually having this barrier in speaking English, and I have to be the facilitator to encourage them to speak more. You can see that some of them shared some love here because I want to make this really inclusive and very safe space for everyone. Okay. Next. Okay, so impacts that we have so far is that what you just saw might be look simple, students talking, loving, and practicing, but to a student who is fighting anxiety in speaking, that simple moment is a milestone for them. Our participants